Hi everyone, welcome back. And this is Dr. Sumit Grover once again on my channel. And you can call me Sumit. And today we have a very special guest with us, Nadia Sharam. And she is an attorney and a mediator activist working since 26 years in New York State. And today our discussion is going to be on a very special topic that how to support people to end relationship in a good way without being hurt psychologically and legally. So I will hand over to Nadia. Nadia, if you can introduce yourself, that will be great.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumit, for having me over here to discuss how to end a spousal relationship legally and perhaps in a more gentler way, more peaceful way, in a civilized way that I practice divorce mediation.
Yeah, firstly, I just want to know that what is your main role as a mediator when you support people to end relationship without being hurt?
That's a very good question, and
Thank you.
I'm so happy that you're asking that question. Sometimes people call me thinking that I actually bring people together in a marriage. So they think that being a mediation attorney means bringing people closer in a relationship, whatever that relationship could be, a spousal relationship or as business partners or even as parents. But the reality is that I am a divorce attorney. I am, in a unique way, I do bring people closer together, but they still get a divorce.
Okay.
It is just
So you make a situation amicable with each other. So there are some amicable decisions which you support them to bring out and make it easy, right? Financially and emotionally, and especially when kids are involved, right?
Yeah, those are all good points. You know, the reality is that there is never easy way to get a divorce.
And to end a relation, yeah.
Perhaps I do make it a softer, a kinder, and as you said, especially when there are children involved, that I always feel we owe it as parents to our children to not to fight at the time of divorce. We have to accept as parents responsibilities not to hurt our children by our decisions. I truly believe after 26 years of practicing only as a mediation attorney, the only way to survive a divorce, at least in New York State, is to divorce as friends, to let go gently with much kindness. Is it an oxymoron? Is it possible? Yes, I know for a fact. I have been practicing that.
Good to know. It's very interesting that we both are working on the opposite spectrum. Like you are supporting people to have a good, easy, happy divorce, and I am supporting people to see if they need to end this relation or not. Is it a situation is irreversible, and looking at from all the directions and all the corners of the room and support them to not go to end this relationship if it's not needed, but still both of ours motive meets in the midway, that we are desiring for happiness, we are desiring for people to be happy, whether in relationship or ending the relationship, correct?
People who come to me from having been through therapy with professionals like yourself, they make the best clients for me because they have had other chances through a professional to see if they can resolve their issues in an amicable way, that they don't get a divorce. So those are actually my favorite kind of clients, because they don't have so many hang-ups, because they are not going to say, oh, we didn't know what we were doing, it was out of anger, it related to what my mother did, my father did.
More an impulsive decision.
So I do appreciate what you do.
Thank you.
And
very
clients who come to me from offices like yourself, they know that this is it. And they
that
have
we are
tried.
done. Yeah. So that means you must have come across many people, specifically with some personality disorders and narcissistic personality disorders and narcissism or other mental health illness. And one of them must have come and mentioned to you that, hey, listen, we are going through therapy and it's very clear that my partner is exhibiting some narcissistic or narcissism symptoms or things. So I am done here. I can't go through this manipulation and to be lied upon or to be cheated upon again and again, because cheating again and again is one of the very common symptoms of borderline personality disorder people, because they find hard to, they fall quick in love and then they come out of love quick, and they're very impulsive in having a relationship and ending a relationship. So anything you want to throw light over it, that how, what approach do you use when you come across people with the mental illness, specifically with narcissistic personality disorders?
I think everybody has some level of narcissism in, right? So I cannot judge it to say what level they are, what level I am, what level you are. So
like that.
But putting that aside, seriously, based on the law, if we know of mental illness, we cannot mediate, because then that person really needs to have an attorney to represent him or her. So the first questionnaire which they have to fill out is about their relationship. Have they been feeling some sort of illness? Are they depressed? So there are a series of questions, and these are legal questions.
But
to
when
determine.
But when we talk about mental health illness, I understand what you mean. You are talking about patients who are depressed, who have bipolar disorder. But personality disorder, like specifically like narcissism or narcissistic personality disorder, that's not even in most of the cases detected. It's because they are never going to, the person who has that disorder is never going to agree that they have that disorder, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
And when you say that I cannot detect, we don't know, we all have a certain amount of narcissism. I agree to that, but narcissistic personality disorder is way off than having some normal common narcissism, because that is something in which a person is really ready to harm the other person and cause unhappiness to them on the cost of what they want out of that relationship. So for them, manipulation, lying, and my happiness comes first. Those are the certain traits which, of course, the other partner is living for years together, and then comes to a point that, no, I am done now. So the only best way is to go to a mediator so that we can get divorced and the finances and everything can be sorted out in a good way. So out here, I am not talking about something which we really get a full-blown diagnosis through a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and then they are coming to you, correct? So anything you want to tell me about what others have mentioned to you regarding?
I would say that for the last 26 years, I have had quite several people who will call me in advance. So they have an appointment, let's say for tomorrow, and the husband or the wife would call, and even though I encourage not to call me separately, because again, legally, there are certain things that I cannot cross. One of them is separate conversation. But when I see that, there is desperation to get a message to me through email or through a phone call, I don't answer it. I encourage in writing, but I don't answer it. But I let that conversation to still be with me. So I be more careful, and if a wife, for example, if a wife keep accepting below what the court requires, like the wife would say, I waive my rights to this, or the husband would say, I waive my rights to my wife's, some wealth that is sitting someplace. I have to question, I have to dig. I have to dig further.
I like that. So what kind of digging do you mean here?
To understand, ask more questions. If you tell me that, something, if I want to learn more, then I have to make you to talk and let me have more information. So if a wife says, I waive my rights to, for example, child support, I'm going to ask why. And she can look at him and say, I don't need it. And I say, okay, show me. Here is a piece of paper. Here is a pen. Show me. Where are you getting money to support your children? So this thing doesn't come out in law, right? That is from experience, right?
Same like psychology and psychiatry.
We
can't just follow the manuals and the books. It's just from experience.
We have to make sure that there is equality, right, at the time of divorce. And by equality, it could be equitable distribution. Equality in mediation doesn't mean you get a scissor and cut everything 50-50. No, because that's you can get that in courtroom.
Same like psychology and psychiatry. We cannot separate the thinking of the person from emotions and behavior. These three things are really together. What you think, you do. What you feel, that's what you think, you feel, and then your behavior is what you think and you feel. We can't cut them separately. So that's a good perspective and approach. But surprisingly, so how does it work with people? Being an attorney, how does it work with people who have mental health illness like depression, a diagnosis of depression since past 2 years or more than 2 years, or bipolar disorder? Then how do court works with them?
What I have been doing successfully is that I require another attorney to take a look at their papers before they sign. And that attorney has to come through them, not through me. So they will have another legal mind to see if the decisions that they are making legally, is it rational or not.
Yeah, because I can now see that, because it's very clear. Because if a person has bipolar disorder and they have impulsiveness, and they are going to spend the money when they are under that maniac phase for 7 days or more, they are going to blow off all the money in a casino or in shopping and doing all that stuff. So then the court has to look how to make the finances work, especially when kids are involved, when the kids have to yet to be educated and they are young and they need money for parenting. So that makes sense to me, that you have to look to all these things, because some symptoms or some behavior of certain mental health disorders like bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and narcissism and narcissistic personality disorder, they involve certain behavior in which a court needs to be very careful when they are making it equal, like you say, or not equal, and what's the reason why they're not making it equal. But any time in life you have come across people being aggressive in front of you while talking, discussions, and
Yes.
And then it's very clear that yes, one of them is having a lot of mental health issues. So how do you handle that situation?
Uh, as we were talking before about, you know, experience, if you kind of sense the room, right? You read the room, and I have had clients that I had to ask not to bring the gun to the room,
Oh.
because I came to know about, one of them having a gun. I have asked clients not to drink before they come for mediation. I have asked clients not to smoke before they come to mediation. So it all depends on the room,
On the room,
and how
the
you
vibe
read it.
and the vibe which
But
you can.
these are really exceptions. For majority of you know divorces that I do, and I usually do
Yeah.
about 100, 120,
Yeah,
140 per year.
yeah, because as it is, anybody who is going to come to a mediator, attorney, or even a psychologist, for some time they'll have a complete face wash and they will be at their best behavior. And I have seen clients who are patients who have come to me, and they have been sent by court for some court ordered evaluations to me. So they are, of course, they have thrown all the
They're at their best.
perfume over themselves and the fragrance, so that
Yeah.
I cannot detect alcoholism
Yeah.
or any smell of alcohol, because their work they can't do without alcohol.
I have done that too,
Yeah.
that no amount of putting all these, cologne and perfume can take away the smell, especially for me, because I'm very sensitive to a smell. And maybe I have come to become really sensitive. But I have had, husbands and wife walk away or stand up as me and the other client are sitting. And you can imagine somebody who's standing, doesn't matter his or her, the size, he or she will look bigger because just the fact that the person is standing. So I will stand right away. And I would say that if you want to take a walk, if you're tired, or sit down. And sometimes I'm told that, like, my leg hurts, or my leg, it feels uncomfortable. I say we take a break for 10 minutes and both of you go for a walk.
Good.
So my hair is all gray, as you can see, right? So I earned it. I earned it by going through different scenarios.
Yes, I understand. And moreover, there's a very common saying that if you really love somebody, set them free. Free and give them freedom, right? So how many people who come to you for mediation do believe in this aspect, and they're doing it, actually practicing it?
I think having that saying at the bottom of my emails, I have had so many people telling me that they really liked it, and it standed out enough for them to continue coming back to me. Because truly, Sumit, it's possible to end relationships, any relationships, whether it's a spousal, is business partnership, is parental role, if you speak freely from your heart.
Communication is all that matters. Honest communication, no lying, no cheating, no beating.
That's
really
why
help.
those who come to me after they have come to practitioners like yourself, they make better clients, because they have dig down, hopefully, right?
Self-awareness,
Yeah.
because self-awareness is also very important. The self-awareness, self-respect, how to retain your self-respect, how to stand up for yourself. It's only, they will not come to you till they are very clear that they are done. And self-respect and self-awareness really revolves around this, that when they see and they perceive that I am done here, I am done. So
I can tell you, sadly, I have had people calling me from hospital beds. I have had men and women equally from having gone and continue to go through cancer therapy. They call and they beg me to hurry up. I have been told by by husband or wife that I have put up for 40 years, for 50 years. Release me now before I die. And I'm talking about people who are in their 70s and 80s who come to me for divorce. And I do my best, I really do my best and to turn away their business and kind of direct them to go for therapy. But I have been told clearly by at least one of them that I am done, I can't do it anymore. But it's, you shouldn't wait. Yes, we believe in working at your marriage, right?
We believe in attachment bonds
but
and relationships.
there has to be a cutoff line.
Somewhere there has to be a cutoff, specifically when you're very clear that the other partner or other person is narcissistic and it's all about his or her happiness. And so when cheating had been regular and it's all about them, and there needs to be a cutoff. Well,
I have to say this, Sumit, sorry for cutting you off, that it always comes back to me. This woman, this is a few years old story. This woman came to me. She was in her 70s and very ill. She wasn't well physically and mentally, I'm sure, but I don't go there. That's not my area. And she insisted she wanted to come and see me by herself. And then she opened her purse and pulled out my advertising from when I had dark hair, all dark, like 25 years ago, when I started my practice 26 years ago. She had my ad and it was folded carefully, right? She opened it and she told me, this is when I saw you and I wanted to come to you for a solution, but it took her that long. And I asked her to bring one of her adult children, and next time that she came with her married son with children in his late 30s or early 40s. There is no solution. And when finances are not there also, you are forced to live under the same roof. So I'm not saying rush into it, but I'm saying go to professionals.
Yeah, that helps. That's what I say, that when you are done and you've decided, let's not waste each other's time and emotions, and let's stop this consumption of emotions and of finances and go our own ways and move on. Life, because no doubt life is long, but life is short too. So why to waste time of each other and move on? Well, good. Well, great. Thank you very much for being here, Nadia. It was great to have this discussion with you, and I will surely come across you again and sometime at some point. But till then, I would like to say to all of you that be good to each other. And I think that's also Nadia's motive, which I have heard many times when I have seen your recordings and your speeches, that be good to each other, and let us give freedom to each other in a good way, in a happy way. And as she mentioned before, that let's remain friends too. After, relationships are part of life, they are not your heart of life. I did mention that in my second video, relationship versus love, which is very interesting. But at present, have a good day, have a good night, and if you really liked this discussion and video, give a thumbs up and do subscribe me by pressing the bell, and I will come across you again. Hope you have a good life and good day and good night.